So is the new iPad 10 here on the left worth the $450 they're now asking, especially over the $330 iPad 9, which you can actually still buy? So this is all in my own opinion. If you guys do not agree with me, let me know why in the comments below in a nice way, please. So $450 here in the US, $330 here in the US. There are some benefits to the new one. For one, you have a more modern look. This is definitely an older look. This takes on the newer iPad's look, like the iPad Air. You now have a 10.9-inch display over the 10.2 on the iPad 9. Even though it is about the same size device, you have less bezel, meaning it has a better or a bigger display. You do have a newer processor. It's not the M1 or the M2, but you do have a better processor in it than you did on the iPad 9, which means, of course, it is a bit faster and it should be able to do heavier tasks a bit easier. It now has USB Type C instead of the Lightning adapter, Lightning, which I mean, if you guys do anything with USB Type C, that'll be a benefit to you. Just like the higher end iPads, it now has USB Type C. So be that good to you or not, personally, it's not something I care all that much about because the old one charges very fast, and I don't ever hook it up to anything else except for maybe a Bluetooth keyboard. But that might be important to you guys. The biggest thing to me though is the display size, which isn't that big of a thing to me personally. But the biggest thing is going to be the speakers. It still has two speakers, but it now has one on one side, one on the other side, whereas the iPad 9 is both on the bottom. It gets loud for the most part. It just does not sound as good as having one on either side. This actually, I think it's a bit louder too, and it definitely sounds better. To me, that's probably the biggest benefit about the new one. Then on top of that, you can now buy for an extra $250 the keyboard with a trackpad on it and a back, or it's called a back plate that I can turn into a stand. But it's an extra $250, which is a lot of money. Another benefit, if you guys use the camera in any way, shape, or form, again, this doesn't really benefit me because I don't use an iPad camera, almost never. But it now has, for the front camera, it is an ultra wide camera. So if you guys do any sort of, FaceTime on here or anything like that, you now have an ultra wide front camera, 12 megapixel, so you can stay in the frame a bit better according to Apple. Then the back has a 12 megapixel wide back camera. And you can also edit your videos in 4K, and you can scan and mark up documents if you want to. I mean, you could do that on the old iPad as well. So the camera is a little bit better than on the iPad 9. You can still use the Apple Pencil 1, which I know some people have been saying is a bit kind of funny because now it's USB Type C, where the Apple Pencil 1 uses the Lightning to charge it. So now you have to use the adapter in order to charge up your Apple Pencil instead of just pulling it into the bottom like you did on this one, which of course always looked funny and people always made fun of anyway. But it still uses the Apple Pencil 1 instead of them going up to a newer Apple Pencil. But now, in my opinion, is it worth buying over the iPad 9? In my opinion, no, it is not. You're spending an extra $120 again here in the US. That's quite a bit of money, especially for what's supposed to be a base model of a tablet. You go and look at like Samsung, their cheaper tablets are around $230 or so. Again, depending on which one you buy, somewhere around $200, which is cheaper than the iPad 9, and they're not as fast as the iPad 9. But still, you're basically doubling the price to get to what is iPad's essentially their new base model iPad. I just think for $450, it's not really a base model anymore. And yes, I know they're keeping the iPad 9, which is I guess technically their base model, and this is one step above it, if you will, but still a new version of the base iPad. So I think for $450, they're just asking too much. $330 for a base version of a tablet is pretty expensive as is. Adding on an extra $120 to me, it's just going to drive a lot of people away. In my own personal testing, for what I use it for, it really is not that much better. It is quicker, and that's really about it. And again, the speakers are definitely a big improvement, like a way big improvement. That's again my favorite thing about it is the new speakers. It just sounds so much better having one on both sides of the tablet. But as far as like gaming goes, both of these are fantastic at gaming. I mean, you can do any sort of schoolwork on one that you can do on the other. Any app you're going to download on the new one will work just fine on the old one. So, personally, again speaking, I really do not think it's worth the $450. Yes, it is an upgrade over the iPad 9. If it was still $330. That's what they should have done, in my opinion, is just replace this one, $330, maybe go up $20 because everything is going up with inflation these days. But I think $120 increase is just asking too much for what's supposed to be a base model iPad. You all let me know what you think. Again, I mean, it is definitely a nice iPad. Just for being what is considered their newest base version, I think it's just too much. Yeah, here, let's just do a very quick, super basic internet test. And both of these are very much fingerprint magnets, as you guys probably see, even though they have some sort of special film or whatever on it. They both are very much fingerprint magnets. Let's see, we'll just go to Best Buy's website real fast. Alright, and then we'll do that one more time, because I believe this one, the new one had its memory history erased. This one did not. So I mean, they're both very, very fast. I always want to swipe. Garmin watch. Garmin watch. So let's do a very quick search here. And of course, like any new tablet, sometimes the old one's still gonna win. So there's almost no difference in internet speed for internet browsing. But again, it is very nice. It's just, to me, it's not worth the $450. It is an upgrade, just not by much. Thank you guys very much for watching. Leave me a comment below if you agree or not. I really do appreciate you guys watching. Hope you have a good one. See y'all next time. Goodbye.